Don't get me wrong, this area of St. Johns County, Florida, Northeast Florida is a great place to live. I should know, I live here personally. We have tons of people that move to this area every year, but we also have some people who leave. It's just not for them. So if these 10 reasons don't deter you, then this may be the place for you. I'm going to leave my contact information here and then also in the comments below. I am Melissa Anderson with eXp Realty, your St. Johns County, Florida realtor. It is my absolute pleasure to answer any questions that you have and help you if you are thinking about relocating here. Let's get right into it. So you could also say that maybe some of these 10 reasons could also be pros. I don't know. You can decide. And I made a little list here so I don't leave anything out. All right. And you'll get what I'm saying with this first comment or the first reason. So the first reason out of the 10 would be maybe, and these aren't in any particular order, they're not ranked, is a slower way of life. So if you are moving here from maybe a bigger city, a more populated city, someplace up north, and you're moving down here, the way of life is a bit slower. It's not so fast paced, and that could take some getting used to. It could seem like a little bit more rural. We do have a downtown area, both like St. Augustine and Jacksonville, but there may not be as lively. St. Augustine for sure. There's a lot going on down there. It's a lot of fun. But maybe downtown Jacksonville, it's still got some growing to do. But all in all, I would say, if you're used to a bigger city and you're moving here, definitely a slower way of life that you would have to get used to. Slow it down. And that kind of ties into the other reason, and I've talked about this a bunch in my other videos, and that is just how spread out everything here in this area in Northeast, and I'm combining Northeast Florida as a whole, but everything is really spread out. So it's not, you really have to get in your car and drive a ways to get to things. So as long as you don't mind that and the commute to get places, you're okay. All right, 3, maybe you're terrified of the hurricanes. That type of weather freaks you out. This isn't the place for you. However, like Northeast Florida area, we really haven't been hit by like a major destruction type hurricane. We just had a tropical storm last year. If you're from like the Northeast, these are similar to what I would describe as like a nor'easter. We lived in Virginia for a few years, and we had nor'easters there. It's like a full day of constant maybe wind and rain. Think of our tropical storms like that. We've stayed here for every hurricane, every tropical storm. We've been fine. Once we lost some pool screens, and again, and I just want to mention this too, because I do have some buyers that are moving down from up north right now, and they're looking at St. Augustine area, and they're like, we researched, we're just terrified of the flooding. Downtown St. Augustine absolutely does flood, but most of the housing like that you're looking at potentially purchasing, it's not going to be in that downtown area that floods. There is a website. I will include that in the link in the comments. You can plug in the address of the property that you're interested in, that you're looking at, and it'll tell you what flood zone it's in, or if it's even in a flood zone. So that's really helpful in that, because that can be kind of scary, especially if you're not from here and you're watching the news, especially with the last tropical storm, and you see everything downtown underwater. We live in St. Augustine. We've personally never experienced any flooding, but again, you need to know what flood zone you're in, and that's easy to find out. Link in the comments for that. So again, that's for that part of the weather and heat. So maybe you're moving somewhere, and it goes both ways. Like maybe you're moving somewhere that has more mild weather, or it snows, you're used to the cold. Maybe you spend 6 months of the year in snow and you're just like, I don't even care how hot it gets. I'm going to the beach. Give me all the heat. Maybe that's you. But it does get quite hot here. There is some humidity. It could take you some adjusting to. And funny story, when we first moved here from up north, we were here and it would be like get below 70, and I mean, people would dress up like it was about to snow. I'm like, what are these people doing? And I'm like, big boots and like puffy, like puffer coats. Me and my husband would just laugh. Little did we know, after about a year of moving here, if it got below 70, we would be chilly. Like it would be cold to us. Like we would sit outside for like a football game and I'm like, man, what's the temperature out? It's kind of air. It's just kind of chilly, and it'd be like 70. So we can't make fun of anybody now because that happened to us. But it's like your blood thins. I don't know. Is that a real thing? So weather. So we talked about slower way of life, spread out. You need to commute. Weather, temperature, hurricane season. Those are all things that you need to take into consideration. If you're not prepared for that, this may not be the area for you. All right, that's what we're gonna go into number 4, and that is growth. So St. Johns County particularly is one of the fastest growing communities in the entire United States because we have so many people that are moving down to this area. So as you can imagine, there's, construction, a lot of people moving in, road closures with, having to widen the roads, new communities popping up, businesses. So, some are established, but we're still kind of in a growth phase. So if you're not prepared to grow with us, grow with St. Johns County, you want someplace that's a little bit already established, already set, then this may not be the place for you. However, there are places around here that I can show you that are not experiencing the explosion of growth. And that grows into a bigger city. So this, maybe you want more of a nightlife scene, or you're used to a bigger city. This is really not going to be the place for you because, like I said, it's a slower way. There is tons of stuff to do. We have so many like weekend events and like new businesses opening and festivals, art shows, all kind of things. And it's just up to you. Like it's like a, how do I describe it? A bigger, smaller city. And when you move to a new community, it's really up to you to try to make the most of it. I've heard of people, living here and saying, oh, we got to live. There's nothing to do here. We're leaving. Like we're going up to like Atlanta. We need more to do. Well, it is what you make it. You really need to put yourself out there and get involved in the community and experience things. And there's so many different Facebook groups too. If you're on Facebook too, we're in a couple of different restaurant groups because we like to try new places, groups for, finding like events in the local area and, really make the most of it. St. Johns County, this is number 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 6. It could be a tad bit more expensive just in this county. St. Johns County is one of the wealthier, I think it is listed as the wealthiest county in the state of Florida. And so as far as expensive that goes, and with like home prices, and if you're building a home or buying a home, our home prices are definitely, the median range there is higher. So that could be a deterrent for you. Also, St. Johns County, we have this is known, like a lot of people move down here for the schools. So there's a ton of kids and families in that whole community feel. So, however, there are Del Webb communities for the 55 plus. And I'll just say in the neighborhood community that I live in, it's really a huge mix of folks. We have the families, and then we have a really big, I wouldn't say big because there's only like 400 homes in our community, but there's a handful of 55 plus, and they've created a group, like a Facebook group. These folks are so active. Like, I'm like, well, I want to be a part of their group. Like, they're doing so many fun things. You don't have to do all of them, but like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like, okay, well, but just be prepared that a lot of the communities here it's filled with families. Another deterrent that maybe you wouldn't want to choose to live down here is like the CDD fees, which is the Community District Development Fees. A lot of the newer communities have these, and it's usually like a 20 to 30-year bond that you have to continue to pay until those are paid off. If you're lucky, a lot of the new builders, if you're choosing new construction, you can choose to pay that. They pay it off for you, and then you just have to pay the operations and maintenance cost. So that's good. And, you know, every community pretty much, there's a lot of communities here that have the HOA, and that fee just really varies based on the amenities in your community. And that also goes to like the CDD fee. Is like, is your community like loaded with resort style amenities? You have like all these different pool areas and a stage and you know, a clubhouse. Like what's going on could really determine how much of a CDD fee is. And on average, those are like around anywhere from like $2,000 to $3,000 per year. And so yeah, that's something to think about. And if you're interested in a particular community and you want to know like, hey, what's the HOA fee or CDD fee, or is there even a CDD fee in that community? Just reach out and I'll be happy to share that information. Off the top of my head, I will tell you that the new Silverleaf, that's off of like County Road 16 here in St. Augustine, it does not have that CDD fee, to note. So, and then lastly, we are going to wrap it up with one reason you may not want to live here. Tourist crowds, especially St. Augustine area in the summer or during the holiday season when we have the Night of Lights, it can get bananas. The lots and lots of tourists. However, you'll live here, right? So you can choose to go down there. Like we know when not to go down there, when it's going to be really busy. The beaches, so many beaches. You guys know, if you've watched a previous video, my number one thing for you when you move down here is to visit all of the beaches so you can find your very favorite one, because they're all so different. And we have our local beaches where you really will not see all the tourists, and it's just locals. So, but if you don't even want to deal with that at all, let me know. Maybe these 10 reasons. Oh yeah, we're missing one. And this last one is this area of the St. Johns County area tends to be a bit more conservative than other locations, maybe out west or up north. So just take that into consideration and take it for what you will. I'm not going to go into details about that. This isn't a, you know, whatever, but I just wanted to put that out there. But I hope you found this video helpful. Again, here is my contact information. Reach out with any questions that you may have. I absolutely love helping people. And again, I hope to hear from you, and until next time. One more thing before I go. I really appreciate your time. If this is your first time watching, thank you for watching all the way through. If you've watched other videos, again, I really appreciate you and the time that you're taking to watch this. If you could, please give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also hit the little bell so that you're notified each time a video is uploaded. I really appreciate it. Also, what's helpful is if you have a particular video topic that you want to know something more about this area, can you leave it in the comments below? I'd love your feedback.